So before we jump into a lot of information and all the products, I would like us to begin in a way that I open a sacred container, and that would be just to take a moment to arrive. I invite you to close your eyes or maybe just soften your gaze, and we're just going to take a nice deep breath in slowly and gently breathe it out. And we're going to do that once more. We're going to take a nice slow deep breath in and just relax on the exhale and let it go. And now I'm going to ask you to gently check in with yourself. How did you sleep last night? And how is your energy and your focus feeling this morning? How is your tummy feeling? And very importantly also is, how's your eyes feeling? Are they feeling clear and comfortable? Or maybe they're feeling a bit dry, irritated, or blurry. There's no right or wrong answer. This is simply an invitation for you to notice. Today is not just going to be normal product training. I would like to take you through a sacred superfoods experience. I'm Letitia Weber, and there I am in the middle of the jungle in Bali with two beautiful cacao pods. I'm going to cover the range of superfoods, which some of you have already been exposed to. Mesquite coffee alternative. It's a gut-friendly, caffeine-free superfood brew. Dragon's blood. Pole powder is not something new. It's been around for centuries. It's just very new to the South African market. And then also we're going to cover the amazing eye serum. The purpose of this training today is not to turn you into medical doctors or nutritionists or experts. The goal is to help you to feel clear and confident and calm when anybody is asking about these products. And how we're going to do that is we're going to just simply start to listen to them, to really find out what are they really asking for. Because somebody might be saying that they are looking for more energy, but if you really listen, they're just not sleeping well. Somebody, for example, might be saying that they are looking for something for their tummy, but if you really listen, they are having 7 cups of coffee on an empty stomach. And in listening, we are able then to guide them in the right direction of working with one of these superfoods or maybe a combination of them. What is a superfood? Well, a superfood is not a magic food, and there's no real scientific explanation of what a superfood is. But how we understand it is that it is a nutrient-dense, a whole, or minimally processed ingredient that naturally offers a wide spectrum of minerals, amino acids, antioxidants, fiber, and bioactive compounds. Unlike where you've got a single isolated nutrient or supplement or vitamin, these compounds remain together in their original matrix. We're looking at whole food nourishment instead of taking an isolated ingredient. To give you an example, pole powder is between 91 and 94% calcium, very high in calcium and very high in magnesium. But instead, where somebody might have been taking these supplements individually, they could benefit from rather taking a superfood because it's got a lot of other amino acids and things in the right ratio for your body to be able to recognize and absorb them. It's sacred because we value a lot more than just a nutrient alone. We value the origin. We respect where the ingredient comes from. So we respect how it has been traditionally used and the people and environments connected to it. We choose careful sorting and minimal processing to preserve as much of the ingredient's natural character and more subtle qualities as possible. To give you an example, I truly believe that pole powder has not just healed my physical sight, but it's also done a lot for my spiritual insight, discernment, and clarity in my life. It's also sacred because we value the intention, and we really encourage the people to work with these in a more conscious way instead of just popping another pill or taking another supplement. Now we are going to jump back to the start of your day. The alarm goes off, and most of us, we are thinking about that first cup of coffee. I was definitely one of those coffee people. I actually had an espresso machine on my bedside table. Over the years, as I became more involved with gut health and detox, coffee kept on coming up. It's not to say that coffee is bad, but I got to see the effects of caffeine on the central nervous system and how uncomfortable it would be for people to start cutting down on coffee. Symptoms like severe headaches and irritability, and you even get that jitters and that sweat. For me, I wasn't really looking for a decaf coffee. I was looking for something completely different. I was looking for the ritual of still making a coffee in the morning where you can have a nice warm cup in your hands. And yeah, it must taste good, but no caffeine. If we were all in person today, I would not be explaining it. I would first open the packet and I would pass it around and I would invite you to give it a nice smell and to see how you feel. It's got a nice warm aroma, a bit of a nutty caramel flavor, and it's very grounding. It's great to start your day with a grounding cup that's actually good for your gut. And it's different, it's a different energy than caffeine. Where caffeine crosses the blood-brain barrier and you get that crash. The Mesquite offers you a more sustained energy throughout the day. So caffeine-free superfood brew. It is slow roasted for a rich caramel taste, low acidic and gentle on your gut. People with any IBS related tummy issues, people who've got acid reflux, ladies who are pregnant or breastfeeding, and children, this would be a safe drink for them to have. It is ground pods from the precipice tree. They also refer to this tree as the honey tree because it's naturally sweet. And they grow up in the Groot Karoo area. It's an invasive species. We wild harvest them. Each tree has got little seed pod on. It almost looks like a bean with little seeds in. And we take that whole seed pod and we roast them and we toast them and then we grind them into a very fine powder. Even though there are other coffee alternatives on the market, which also has the same raw ingredient, which is the mesquite, the processing method makes the world of a difference. If these beans are roasted on a very high temperature, you would actually be destroying a lot of the important nutrients. But we believe in saying slowly is holy. If you roast them slowly, you bring out more of the aroma and the character of this. Caffeine-free, it is brewed in the similar way to coffee, but it is not instant coffee. It is naturally rich in potassium, fiber, and plant compounds. This naturally helps you stabilize your blood sugar levels. And like we said, it's low acidic and gentle on your gut, say for people with IBS. It's got a smooth caramel-like flavor, and you can have it hot or cold. And you can also place it with somebody would like a strong cup of coffee, like an espresso, then you would just add more. It's free from no added sugars, fillers, or any flavorants or preservatives. And you brew it just like coffee. You can make a manual espresso, a mocha pot. And my favorite way is in a plunger. And you would never want to pour boiling water on these superfoods. You would always let the kettle just cool down for a bit and let it steep for a couple of minutes. People can also play around with the taste of the mesquite. They can use it as a base and maybe add a bit of cocoa powder to it, and you change it into a mocha style drink. Or it pairs very beautifully with some of the other superfoods like paw powder and dragon's blood. I've done a lot of tastings at expos and markets, and people are very pleasantly surprised. And everybody is different. Some people, I give them a taster cup of the mesquite, and they're like, no, they don't like it. And then I'm like, I'd wait. And I add a bit of cocoa powder into the mesquite. I serve that to them, and their facial expression shows everything. There's quite a couple of office buildings that have contacted us. They're saying that they want to get more productiveness out of their team, but they are thinking of ways of how to support their staff better. And starting your day with a cup of mesquite is completely different than starting your day with a cup of coffee. It's going to be great for us to just get the feedback as well from these office buildings and ask the people, how are you feeling? How's your energy? How's your concentration? Because the way that we operate is normally based on how we feel. And it all starts here in the gut. If we can just give the gut a nice, beautiful support and lining for the day, yeah, that's where the real difference will come in. Dragon's blood. The name is very dramatic, but there's no blood involved and no dragons were harmed. It is a very deep red botanical resin extract with a long history of traditional internal and topical use. This tree has got a scientific name, but a lot of people just call it the Draco tree. And when this tree is cut, it bleeds a red resin. Dragon's blood comes in different forms. You get it in a liquid form, but then also for us, we do extraction thereof to get it into a powder form, which is very nice and lovely to work with. With dragon's blood, it actually does, it's like a blood tonic, and it can help to clean the blood. But this is where you must really listen and ask the right questions to your customer, because if they've got a bleeding disorder or if they are taking blood thinning medication, we would rather not tell them to use dragon's blood. They must rather consult with their healthcare provider. Why choose dragon's blood? Well, it's a very powerful anti-inflammatory. It measures on an auric scale. Now, the auric scale is not always recognized by all these health standards and regulations. But to give you an idea, some of your high anti-inflammatory foods are turmeric, black cumin seed oil, and they would measure in the thousands on this auric scale, but dragon's blood comes in at 3 million. You almost can't compare it. It's definitely in a league of its own because it's got such unique properties. People have been traditionally working with these medicines for a long time. It supports wound healing, skin repair, and tissue regeneration. It supports this from the inside as well as the outside. You could apply it topically on like eczema skin. Somebody, my grandfather, he's got skin cancer, and we've been applying it on there, and he's really been responding well. Also supplied it to somebody who's treating a horse, where they actually take the powder and they mix it with coconut oil and they applied it on the horse's skin. Dragon's blood may aid in balancing your gut flora. It's really supportive for the gut microbiome. And it offers natural antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. And it's been traditionally used to soothe ulcers in the tummy and to relieve diarrhea. Dragon's blood has got a gentle heavy metal detox effect. I used to guide a lot of people through very intense parasite cleanses and detoxes. But we need to understand that parasites are feeding off heavy metals. If we address the heavy metals, the parasitic load will automatically come more back into balance. Dragon's blood detoxes the heavy metals in a very gentle way. It's not aggressive, and it's not necessary to, a lot of people say you need to take a binder, although that would also be beneficial to do so. Dragon's blood protects cells from oxidative stress, and it also may support receding gums and oral health. This is something very unique because if you go into, if you ask Google, what can you do for receding gums? Normally, there's not really much you could do. Take a bit of the powder, mix it with coconut oil, and you can apply it on the gums several times a day. Available in a loose powder packet or in capsules for people that just prefer the convenience thereof. And the serving size is approximately a half a teaspoon daily. If you take the capsules, you can take between 1 to 4 capsules daily. I like to tell people start wherever their budget allows them to start, because the most benefit is to have these superfoods in your system for a long period, because the benefits stack over time. If your client can probably just start on 1 capsule every second day, they would still have a benefit. It will just be over a longer time. We believe slowly is holy. Start where you're at and just notice and observe how the body responds. Internal use, you can take the powder and you can mix it into cold water or hot water. You mix it into coffee, tea, cocoa, smoothies, yogurt. You can sprinkle it over the food. The powder itself has got a very delicious taste. It's got hints of cocoa and coffee. It's also safe for children and pets. But we start them on a quarter to a half a serving. We always start them slowly, see how the body responds before we increase. It can be taken at any time of the day as well. It doesn't matter if it's in the morning or in the evening, and you can take it with or without food. Topical uses for dragon's blood. You can take a bit of the powder, or you can simply open up the capsule and empty the contents. And then you can mix it with organic coconut oil, castor oil, tallow, or raw honey. And then you can apply that on the skin, on a bug bite, scars, or burns. There's also a lot of interesting testimonies that it helps for moles to reduce and fall off. They say that moles is just a buildup of toxins in the body. When you support the internal terrain by flushing out the toxins, and you support it topically by applying the dragon's blood, where they could be healing. If somebody is treating a mole on their body, they can either use castor oil and pearl powder, or they can use dragon's blood and castor oil. I would just also maybe cover it with a plaster. You get those nice, beautiful silicone plasters that you can just put over. The castor oil could be a bit runny, and dragon's blood could also maybe stain. That's good to cover it with a plaster. One thing if a product works, but we also want these products to be convenient to use so that it fits into a nice day. For this reason, I've just brought out a dragon's blood infused tallow balm. It mixes, it's also the powder, but because it's in tallow, it stays suspended differently. Pearl powder, one of my most loved ingredients. It has changed my life in such a beautiful way. I would love to share with you just a bit of my story. I was born with an eye condition called strabismus. It is that my eyes were so beautiful, they couldn't stop looking at each other, and the eyes didn't align. At the young age of 3, I had a major eye surgery where they actually cut off the muscles and reattach them to the eye. My one eye was a success, but the other eye was not. Growing up, I was always relying on very thick reading glasses. I was only mainly looking out of my one eye, and the other eye was very blurry, constant headaches. As I moved into adulthood, I became very self-conscious about my lazy eye. I actually started to train it to simply start looking straight, even though I wasn't looking out from it, if that makes sense. In 2023, I first heard about pearl powder through a Cultivate Elevate, and I just knew that I needed to get my hands and my eyes on these medicines. And I started taking pearl powder internally, as well as putting it on my eyelids and around the eye area. And I would say within a couple of weeks, I could already notice that my eyes started feeling differently. But it was only a couple of months later where for the first time I could start reading with my right eye. And that just brought me to my knees. And today, a couple of years later, I can read very fine print. My eyes are continuing to improve. They're so much more sensitive and picking up a bigger spectrum of light. Yeah, it's really incredible. And there's a lot of testimonies how some people that were colorblind can even now start seeing a spectrum of color. So there's not much research available yet. A lot of testimonies are still coming out, and we're still learning of just exactly how pearl powder can benefit, especially the eyes. What is pearl powder? Powder is a natural powder made from real crushed freshwater pearls. You also get seawater pearls, but they are very expensive because the farming methods and the processing methods are different, but they both have the same benefits. And pearl powder is naturally rich in calcium carbonate, magnesium, selenium, amino acids, and over 30 trace minerals. I'll go into more on them in the next slide. And then pearl powder is not something new. It's been used for centuries in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic practices. Cleopatra was said to be bathing in pearls. They used to use it as a medicinal ingredient as well as a cosmetic ingredient, both internally and topically. The sacred Superfoods pearl powder is 100% pure, food-grade, freshwater pearl powder. There is a lot of pearl powder out there on the market, but some of them might have fillers in, or they are not food grade. The micron size is different, so not all pearl powder is equal, and it's very important that you actually get something that comes with a certificate of analysis to make sure that it's been tested for heavy metals and that it meets certain requirements. You get micronized, which is known as a more traditional pearl powder because they simply take the pearls and they grind them up into a fine powder. It does not dissolve completely in water. And then you get hydrolyzed pearl powder. It has just been taken through another processing method of hydrolysis to make it water soluble and more instant. And I really believe that every grain is precious. It's nice that the hydrolyzed pearl powder dissolves in warm water, but again, not boiling water, because we want to preserve the properties of the pearl powder. Key minerals in pearl powder is average of 91 to 94% calcium. They're very high in magnesium, silica, selenium, iodine, sodium, copper, zinc, iron, manganese, iodine, structured water, and then a very interesting protein that consists of 17 amino acids. We all know that amino acids are the building blocks for regeneration. It's a superfood, so instead of taking an isolated supplement of calcium, magnesium, or selenium, you would rather opt to get this from a whole food, because all of these minerals are in the exact balance and ratio with each other, so that your body can easily recognize and utilize them. Why would a customer choose pearl powder? Well, for a daily mineral nourishment. Really, you're getting a lot from this single ingredient. And pearl powder promotes a very healthy and radiant complexion, helps to boost the body's natural collagen production and repair skin cells. Pearl powder may strengthen the teeth and bones. Powder could be seen as a coffee creamer, because you're adding this to your cup of coffee or cacao instead of something like milk to get that nice calcium content in. Pearl powder also doesn't have much of a taste. It's very versatile to work with. Pearl powder supports the hair, skin, and nails, helps strengthen the follicles. And when you give it to your pets, you can also see in the pet the hair is softer, shinier, the eyes. Pearl powder naturally calms the mind and it balances your emotion. And there's scientific research that suggests that pearl signal proteins may help to stimulate the regeneration of connective tissues in and around the eye. How to use pearl powder? The dosage is exactly the same as with the dragon's blood, approximately 2 grams or half a teaspoon daily. Or if you do the capsules, you can take 1 to 4 capsules a day. And like I said before, wherever your budget allows you to start, you would get a benefit. You mix it with warm water. It could just be clean warm water, or add it to your coffee, tea, cocoa, smoothie. You can even sprinkle it over food or mix it in with some yogurt. Mom mixes her dragon's blood and pearl powder with some yogurt, and she says it tastes nice. It is best taken in the evening for calming support. Because of the high levels of magnesium, it works on your central nervous system to bring calm and relaxation and to promote good rest. A lot of people be asking, how soon can I expect to see results with pearl powder? Well, one of the first things that you can look out for is to notice your quality of sleep. Pearl powder is also safe for children and pets, but slowly is holy. We want to start them on a quarter to half a serving and just observe how the body responds. These superfoods, they are safe to take daily, but you could also take them 5 days on and 2 days off. Do them during the week, have a rest over the weekend, and start them again on a Monday. Topical uses for pearl powder is very versatile. It's so exciting for me. I'm working with many people that are formulating their own skin balms or products. I'll have a little jar of the hydrolyzed pearl powder in my cupboard where I put my moisturizer on every morning, and you can simply just put a pinch of the pearl powder in your existing moisturizer, mix it in and apply it on your face. Make your own mask. Also some nice toothpaste recipes available, because pearl powder is very, very beneficial for your teeth. You could make a very simple toothpaste with it, or you could do oil pulling. Are you allergic to shellfish? Most people are okay, but it is important to pose that question because they might have an allergic reaction. They should always patch test it before use, and a good place to do that is actually on the inside of the wrist, where we are very sensitive to see how they respond. And people that have got kidney stones, hyperparathyroidism, or calcium-related medical conditions, we can only explain and support how these products have been used, but they should rather speak to their healthcare provider. Some common questions. Can I use pill powder if I already take calcium or magnesium? Pill powder contributes to the overall calcium. The customer should consider how much calcium they already receive from their food and supplements. It's like doing a little mathematical calculation because we never want to overload the body. We do not advise them to stop or reduce a prescribed supplement because there might be a medical reason for that. Where appropriate, pill powder can then be introduced, but then you would slowly lower on the current supplement and then slowly start on the pill powder so that there's a nice slow transition for the body. How quickly will I notice a difference? Well, everybody is different. I ask people, how much water are you drinking? And then they sort of look at me funny. But that's a very important place to start, is how much water are you drinking? What is your overall diet like? There's a lot of contributing factors, but in my experience and from the testimonials that I have received, some people are having great results within a couple of days or even instantly. The pill powder and castor oil eye serum, the ingredients is the micronized freshwater pill powder, because the hydrolyzed pill powder does not mix well with castor oil or any oil. It will remain very gritty. It's in this little beautiful jar, and there's natural separation that occurs. It's important to stir it through before each use, and this will assist with eye area nourishment. I see it as food for your eyes. People don't always realize, but your eyes are a very high demanding organ, requiring up to 25% of your day's nutrients. If we are trying to feed the eyes from the inside, the food that we are taking in might be lacking some of the nutrients, and some people might have absorption issues in the gut as well. So for that food to eventually reach your eyes, it's going to be a long journey. Castor oil is also a great medicine around for centuries, and it acts as a carrier oil. The castor oil is actually pulling in the pill powder and feeding the eyes, the optic nerve, and all the tissue around the eye. It helps for dry eyes. My stepfather, he used to take eye drops 6 times a day. He says sometimes his eyes are so irritated, he wishes he could take them out and just like scratch them. And within 2 weeks, he reported that he only uses eye drops now once every 4 to 6 days. Another lady told me if she wakes up in the morning, she grabs the eye drops, and that's how her day starts. She said that since using the pill powder and castor oil on her eyes, it's brought a lot of relief, and her eyes are feeling well nourished. It helps for fine lines and wrinkles. It can help for cataract-related concerns, and that's a very important topic that we'll go into with the next slide. It could help for eye floaters, lens cloudiness, and for moles and scars. It's not only for the eyes. You can take a little bit out and put it in the palm of your hand and add your other essential oils or moisturizer, and you apply it on the whole face and the neck. How long this jar will last all depends on how the person would be using it. It's important for us to understand that the eyes are living tissues with muscles, nerves, blood supply, connective tissues. I almost see it like the roots of a tree, the eye area here. If you are going to give a tree food, you're not just going to pour it there where it stops, but you're going to treat the surrounding soil around it. That's why we apply it on a larger area around the eye to give all the nerves endings an opportunity to go and get the food. There has been small and early studies that have explored pill powder in eye-related context, but this does not establish that the serum treats cataracts, floaters, glaucoma, changing vision, or eye diseases. It is presented as a nourishing external ritual and not a medical treatment. It is applied externally on the eyelid and around the eye area. It can be applied on the lashes, and it can also be applied on your third eye, which is very interesting because this is where our pineal gland sits, and pill powder has got a bit of a detoxing effect on it. And like I mentioned, pill powder also brings more clarity and discernment and insight. Working with this in a very intentional way is that you can put some here on your third eye, And some people also put it in their belly button, which is called navel pulling, or ancient Ayurvedic technique. The castor oil is quite thick and tacky, so you don't want to put it on and immediately lie down on your pillow because it might be a bit sticky. Therefore, apply it about 30 to 40 minutes before you go to bed. But it can be applied at any time during the day, whichever is convenient for you. My husband sits in front of a computer most of the day, and I can see when he's got these little red veins coming on the sides of his eyes, that his eyes are tired. I've put the jar there by his computer, that he's reminded to use it there. It can be applied in the morning, and it can be reapplied once it has fully absorbed. Because the castor oil absorbs very slowly, there is a benefit for it to stay on the skin as it then slowly pulls into the skin, and it actually pulls through the skin and into the eye. Think of what you are feeding your eye. The calcium, the magnesium, the selenium, the amino acids, the manganese, the iron. You are giving your eyes that food to be able to start to regenerate. Warnings is just to patch test before use, and it's for external use only. You can't put it directly into your eye. There are other remedies where you can put organic cold pressed hexane-free castor oil in your eye if you have not had eye surgery. But when you mix this with a pearl powder, it's best not to put it into the eye. I can't make any medical claims. I can just share with you what is shared with me. And the photo there on the left, the difference within 6 days. The photo on the right is somebody that struggled with severe bags under their eyes. And the pearl powder has helped drastically for the bags under the eyes. And interesting, this lady shared that she suffered from severe headaches, and that since using pearl powder, she's also seen that it's helped for the headaches. In the case that you do have a headache, you can take additional like 2 capsules of pearl powder because it helps to relax the system. Amazing testimonial here is that a client shared her husband's eye floaters disappeared in 3 days. Seeing is believing, so you need to see for yourself. Common questions that I received is, can I use this if I've already had eye surgery and if I've had cataracts removed or artificial lenses inserted, but my vision is changing again? The best responsible reply that we can give, that once this area has fully healed and your treating eye care professional has confirmed that your normal skincare may be resumed, then the serum might be applied externally around the eye area. We do not place it inside the eye or on an unhealed incision or against medical advice. How long before they see results? Again, everybody is differently. Might see results within a couple of days, and other might see results instantly. At one of the markets, a lady was walking past and I saw her scratching her eye, and I asked her, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh, this eye has just been irritating me the whole day." And I'm like, "Well, come here, I've got something for you." And she put a little bit on her eye and she's like, "Wow, what is this?" That's truly incredible. There's also somebody using this for arthritis. They are applying this castor oil and pearl powder on their hands for arthritis, and it's brought a lot of help.
Question that nobody is asking is the calcium carbonate.
Yes.
So, yeah, you all know it does not absorb well through your gut. If you don't have high stomach acid, it can't absorb. What would make this more absorbable?
Oh, that's a very good question. And this is a completely different form of calcium. You won't find anything like this on the market. So it can't really be compared because it's naturally occurring. It's in relation to all the other amino acids and proteins. It helps your body to absorb it in the best way possible. You are taking out the manual calculation of I'm taking calcium and now I have to take something else to be able to absorb it better. And there's actually so much that in brackets could go wrong and could cause more problems. Pearl powder is one of the best forms of calcium available. It's between 91 to 94% calcium. There are other pearl powders that I've tested with tests like adding water or then adding vinegar, and to see the response of how it goes fizzy. Then the questions come up, but what exactly is in this? Is it artificial calcium or is it a filler? How has it been so far, the experience with the pill powder in the shop? Are people curious? Are they needing just more information and guidance?
Well, for the customers, it's a very new concept. Most of them have never heard about pearl powder. I would say about 99% and more doesn't know about pearl powders. Introduce them to this. The questions that they ask is, will it really help me? Yeah, it's a very new thing. We have to educate the people,
Yeah,
the benefits, but they're very keen because they want to heal their eyes. And
yes.
it's desperate when it comes to cataracts and glaucoma, because that is the two areas where most people have an issue with. Most of them can't afford the cost of an operation. This would be a great relief for them to hear that there's something that can help them without going to an operation situation.
Operation situation, exactly. And even the waiting list to get one of those operations are long. And I know people say it's not even successful, or just return. With the eyes, people are hopeless sometimes, or they become desperate. And we are always told that, eyes get weaker just because of age, or that's just the way it is. It is really amazing that there is this possibility of like, what is this pill powder? Where does it come from? And all these testimonies, is it real? Big question mark. Like I said, it's actually not new. You could start there. If somebody is asking about it, you can tell them, like, this is about remembering. God created the heavens and the earth and the seas at the start. In the sea, the pearls were one of the first jewels. Even speak about the pearly gates. And with relating to teeth, they speak about your pearly whites. With cataracts, a study was done on about 66 patients by Dr. Wang, where she took patients and she gave them 1,500 milligram pearl powder 3 times a day. It was a bit of a higher dose. And they also applied pearl powder topically. I think the success rate was 70% of those patients cured. I think we are just learning of what pearl powder could do. And it's going to be very important to ask the client, Letitia, please give us the feedback. Ask the questions, because what I do then is I will write a blog about it, or I will make a video about it, and I will create the marketing material to support you guys.
I want to ask quickly, like teeth whitening. So it obviously will remineralize your teeth, but have you had results with like whitening?
There is a gentle teeth whitening property as well. With a basic toothpaste recipe, you would take organic coconut oil, hydroxyapatite, which also helps to remineralize teeth, clove essential oil, and some peppermint oil for the breath. But then the pearl powder itself, the micronized, the particle sizes, actually, it's not gritty, but it does have a little bit of a polishing effect. It's polishing that also helps for the teeth whitening, and it's got a natural detoxing effect. It's detoxing, it's cleaning your mouth inside. So especially stained teeth from coffee. You could also do oil pulling with it, either castor oil or coconut oil. Leave it in the mouth for 5 to 10 minutes and then just spit it out, not in a drain somewhere so that it doesn't block. There's a blog I've written about exactly how pearl powder works for teeth, and the understanding first, and then they can have the recipe.
That is awesome.
You have an absolutely beautiful day, and you're welcome to reach out at any time.